Go.
Hi, I'm Joseph Quinn, and this is the Transcend backpack, unleashing parkour potential. For as long as I've lived, I've had a deep love of the outdoors and keeping active. Be it biking, kayaking, sports, camping, hiking, or archery, you'd rarely find me wasting a nice day inside. Or, since I grew up in Seattle, any day with light rain. Upon moving to San Francisco for graduate school, I found myself drawn into the local parkour groups and never looked back. I instantly resonated with the core philosophy and focus on precision and efficiency. I relished every minor accomplishment and bonded with the welcoming, supportive community. Parkour is a highly athletic, wholly unique discipline. It involves overcoming obstacles with strength, speed, improvisation, and creativity in an effort to get from point A to point B as efficiently as possible. It is about freedom, utility, adaptation, and growth, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually as well. Safe progression is urged, with emphasis on gradual improvement up to trickier movements and combinations. The ultimate ideal is known as flow, which is the smooth, clean, seamless continuation of movements strung together to maximum efficiency, and minimizing lost momentum and wasted energy. The more I learned, the more I understood the wants, needs, and desires of parkour participants, sometimes self-identified as tracers. I came to the realization that, while it was certainly enjoyable, the current condition of parkour is a far and neutered cry from the original intended goal of crossing an urban cityscape from point A to point B without needing to stop. Some social media videos emulate this feeling, but behind the lens, there are dozens of jump cuts and a fully stocked camera crew. I saw the opportunity to expand the experiences and opportunities available in parkour up to that glorious idealized level, and made it my mission to do just that. Parkour is currently experienced by essentially taking everything you need with you, dropping it under a bench or nearby in some grass, and staying at one location, either a playground or a park, for a few hours and possibly migrating to another location later. This is obviously inadequate, as the ideal for parkour is going from A to B as efficiently as possible without stopping. So the ideal situation would be having everything you need on you for that entire duration, as opposed to it becoming an anchor that tethers you to one location for the duration of your training. Current options for bags or other storage are inadequate because they are either too frail to hold up to the unique demands of tracers, they swing around or are uncomfortable to strap, or they're just bulky and burdensome and actually prevent parkour participants from doing what they need to do and performing their actions and movements. So there's an opportunity here to provide a function, an additional utility for parkour to expand that experience by giving an option to carry everything that is needed, all of that gear, all of those essentials, and still do all your regular movements without being impeded. The goal of this project is to do just that, is to make a storage solution for parkour that expands the opportunities, that opens the tracer up to anything and everything they wish to do to push their limits. The only obstacles they'll come across are the ones that are in front of them in the cityscape. And the product solution takes the form of a backpack. Although I explored design options with a leg holster or a sling bag or other things like that, the backpack was the most effective at carrying everything that needs to be carried by a typical tracer without getting in the way. A majority of my research took the form of direct observations, interviews, and focus groups. And I received much more candid responses by engaging in parkour with these focus groups. Since I spent 3 to 4 days a week engaged in parkour with my focus groups, the response I got was invaluable. Since I had such constant exposure with these users, especially lead users, I was able to glean the specific requirements and provide them with almost daily refinement and iterations of the design and prototypes. The requirements of this project fall into two categories, which are functional and opportunity. Functional requirements of a storage solution for parkour essentially boil down to being able to handle everything the tracer can without getting in the way, and possibly even augmenting their abilities. This includes being water resistant, abrasion resistant, tear resistant, and impact resistant, and being able to carry all the essential belongings safely and securely during typical parkour maneuvers. Ergonomically, backpack needs to be able to be kept high and tight to the user's body, snug enough that it prevents the contents from swinging, swaying, jostling, or creating a pendulum effect when running. It also needs to be adjustable for a variety of torso sizes and secure. The contents that are most often used, such as a mobile phone, keys, water, and snacks, need to be readily accessible at a moment's notice. The everyday carry, or EDC, of parkour is pretty minimal. Essentially, it boils down to a mobile phone, keys, wallet, snacks, water up to about a 1 liter capacity, and sometimes a small first aid kit and multi-tool, and potentially even a camera like a GoPro. The current bag options for parkour are wholly inadequate for the purpose of being carried during a training session. Drawstring bags are by far the cheapest option and boil down to just being a sack where all the belongings are kept in one location under a bench. No tracer would dream of carrying this with them because they are too loose and too frail to impact and abrasion that they would just get in the way. Hydration packs are a little bit better in that they carry the weight a bit higher on the back. However, in order to get them snug enough, it would be uncomfortably tight for the user. They're also a bit weak to abrasion as well. Trail packs are a bit more beefy, a bit more durable. However, they carry the weight much lower on the back and suffer from pendulum effect just as much as hydration packs and drawstring bags. There is only one bag to date that has targeted the parkour community, and that is the aerial fast break. And while it has an attractive design, it is still too bulky and cumbersome to be worn, and you'd be hard-pressed to find images or video of anyone actually using it aside from the marketing materials of the company themselves. In addition to meeting and exceeding the technical requirements, the Transcend Parkour Backpack expands the experiences and opportunities available to tracers. By allowing them to weigh anchor and untether themselves, they will truly be free to conquer their city. So the design process began with a segmented shell construction, a series of small modular rigid components that were strung together over a soft bag. The idea behind this was to provide maximum durability and support for the contents, but also ensure maximum maneuverability for the user. However, in practice, this ended up being too bulky, burdensome, and heavy to be appropriate for parkour. I addressed these problems by minimizing the amount of rigid shell construction to just an exoskeleton from shoulder to hip in both directions. And while this did create a much lighter design, it is also far too inflexible to be used appropriately in parkour. The size and high profile of it also made rolling across it very difficult. So I moved on back to the drawing board to come up with a better concept that would better address the needs of parkour. I then explored alternatives to rigid shells that would be effective protection for fragile belongings. The most promising option was to simply move as much of the contents as possible away from the path of the roll to the chest and sides, which would eliminate the need for heavy shells altogether. The first prototype of this new soft concept was taken to user groups and tested extensively in adverse weather conditions. And while it held up relatively well, there were some improvements to be made. The side pockets that I had included were too small to be effectively used and were ignored entirely by the users. However, the back pockets under the kidneys were used, though they were difficult to access. The bag itself held up well under the weather. However, the neoprene under harness absorbed too much moisture and became heavy after extended use. The iterations that followed addressed each of these problems in turn, but they also brought in the ideas of the visual influences I wanted to bring into the final design. I brought these individual images to my focus groups as well as different color schemes that came about from them, and the hero or superhero ideal was brought in as well. In parkour, the individual feels like they have superpowers. They can overcome any obstacle in their path with enough creativity and athleticism, mental acuity. so is a very strong evocative image of superheroes in parkour. Because of this, I brought in a variety of color themes to my focus groups and had them choose their favorites. This would serve as a guideline, but not strictly the rules I would follow for the eventual colorways for the final design. The refined concepts themselves featured larger kidney pockets, larger chest pockets with zipper closures for added security, and did away with the side pockets altogether as they were going unused. The rear pocket was reworked as well to lift the weight as high and away from the path of the roll as possible, and reworked the materials to be more durable as well. I explored the idea of a neoprene outer shell to pull the contents close to the users and keep them snug. However, this ended up being more weather and water absorbent than being durable to the elements. As the design and subsequent prototypes were continually refined with the invaluable support of my user groups in San Francisco and Seattle, the bold colors and shapes were reinforced. More than merely addressing needs, my user groups became increasingly enthusiastic about testing the new prototypes, some even requesting to buy and take home the prototypes after testing for their own home use. Since by this point my local parkour communities were nearly as invested in the project as I was, they eagerly anticipated and offered feedback on every stage of this final design, including sketches, what would become the initial colorways, the material selection, the initial prototype for this design, and eventually the final prototype. The Transcend backpack's main pocket is fitted with an elastic divider to separate contents. It is generously proportioned to fit up to a 1-liter hydration bladder. This pouch is strategically tapered so that no matter how rushed the user is and how haphazard the contents are stowed, the weight will always be distributed evenly and balanced across the user's back. This pouch also accommodates other gear, such as additional layers of clothing. An easy gliding 2-pull zipper seals the bag securely, and a waterproof rain fly protects the contents from drips. Each of the straps is slipped through a nylon slider which is attached to the bag in the back. The double-sided Velcro straps are low snag and won't catch on clothing or the environment around the user. The generously proportioned front chest pouches are perfect for holding fragile objects like a mobile phone, keys, and a wallet, and are finished with a waterproof zipper. Skid pads made of upcycled rubber tubes at the 4 corners of the harness provide 2 additional pockets hidden neatly behind the lower straps, offer additional storage for snacks, sunglasses, or other gear that may not need to be accessed as readily as that in the front pockets. As soon as the final prototype was finished, I quickly took it off for more abuse at the hands of my eager users. The extended testing some of my users performed after taking previous iterations home informed my careful selection of materials. 400 denier diamond ripstop nylon provides high abrasion and weather resistance, holding up to everything thrown at it with ease. For the V-shaped tail of the backpack, seeing more intense scraping, I opted for nigh indestructible 1050 ballistic nylon. In addition to function, there is a cool factor to the material among my users. A breathable polyester blend is used for the base harness, with strategic minimal sections of 2mm neoprene for pack. The form factor and judicious use of hardware makes the Transcend imminently snag-free, allowing users to slipstream through their concrete jungle. In fact, the final prototype ended up being so lightweight and snug, and one with the user, my final testers had forgotten they were wearing anything until we finished recording, and I had to remind them so I could take it home. Over the final semester of my project, and my parkour communities having seen my work come to fruition, queries to buy prototypes have steadily increased. Especially after this final working prototype has been made, I'm now up to 37 orders to fulfill for my eager new friends. When I first started work on the Transcend project, I had intended to leverage the experience into full-time employment at an outdoor developer such as REI, outdoor research, or Arc'teryx. As the project continued and users became more and more invested, the likelihood of a successful crowdfunding campaign became impossible to ignore. I therefore have developed a business plan for launching the Transcend backpack into the eager arms of tracers everywhere. Phase 1 of this plan is a soft release, distributing the first manufactured run to potent brand ambassadors, with different tiers relating to their dedication to expanding the Transcend brand. Platinum ambassadors would get a free Transcend backpack, gold at a deep discount, silver at wholesale price, and bronze at a promotional cost. All ambassadors would have their choice of exclusive custom colors. Direct sales would be the foundation of this introductory 6-month period, and drawing feedback from this period would allow for retooling for the crowdfunding campaign. Phase 2 involves the campaign itself, with ambassadors comprising a significant media presence. Since parkour innately involves the sharing of videos online, social media presence would already be thriving. A promotional tour would expand direct sales and allow tracers everywhere the chance to experience the benefits of the Transcend backpack firsthand. The crowdfunding campaign would focus on higher volume production runs and facilities in order to keep costs low for the consumer. Transcend's retail price would be $160, with backers of different levels receiving proportional discounts and ambassadors receiving automatic discounts. Stretch goals would involve related gear and special material options. Phase 3 continues the momentum by expanding the sales to retail markets. Upon seeing the final prototype, parkour gyms such as Parkour Visions, Apex Movement, and Move Free Academy have asked when they would be able to start selling the Transcend backpack in their shops. These gyms would be a potent point of sale by providing additional availability and visibility for the brand. Since, over the course of the project, interest was raised regarding other bespoke parkour gear, Phase 3 would also see trials of parkour pants and sleeves with integrated skid pads, as well as retrofitted removable hardshell inserts for the Transcend backpack itself. Finally, in Phase 4, I will seek opportunities to collaborate and partner with gear developers, establishing an entire parkour product line under a larger banner. The experience I gain over the Transcend project's lifetime will put me in an excellent position professionally and be used as leveraged into a senior or project lead position. I will have changed the face of parkour forever by unleashing its true potential. Thank you.